Voila, Chatroom's on.
Chatroom, what's it all about?
It's a bit.
A start.
Morality. There's still any
Life is about choice. Everyone has an opinion.
The debate is always good. Let's chat about it. A start.
Yanbingelela nonke emakhaya and welcome to the chat room. Today we're talking changing minds and changing lives. We all have the ability to change our mindset, to change our core inner beliefs upon which we base the view of ourselves and of the world. But changing our beliefs is not easy. Sometimes our present reality may cloud our view of our present situation, making it seem insurmountable. Mandla is a young person who lives in Soweto. Life has thrown its many challenges at him to a point where he doesn't feel that he can add any value to those around him and to society as a whole. Let's take a look at his story.
Chatroom's on.
Let's chat about it. A start.
Mandla is originally from Soweto in Johannesburg. He says that he has been suffering from depression for a while now. So we as the chat room took some time out to see how we can help him.
Into engidiscourage kakhulu ile nto ethama lami ukuthi ngishiye emhlabeni ne because ukungishiya kwakhe emhlabeni by the time asaphila abantu bebangincanywa kwabona yonke into behlangana wonke umuntu bekafisa ukwenza izinto nami yabo ne family is like life yami united be grand but then take makhamba lo muntu lo because vele kade umuntu waziwayo top or businessman so kushona kwakhe kwanga-affecta kakhulu because abantu bebangijikela it's like kwajikela abantu it's like ubone ukuthi okay right manje wonke umuntu nalo kade kuyi-friend close friend and nabantu baselokishini ophila nabo abasekho la for wena nefamily nayo kwabona kuba ukuthi nje umuntu nomazibona so yangi-affecta kakhulu that thing and then nomama ukuthi ashade yangi-discourage kakhulu that thing because ubhlungu ukukhula ngaphandle kwelo lady time yabona time since vele lona lavaya kokwabantswembu ngoba nomama washada it's when nami ngifila ukuthi yabona manje life yami is finish wonke umuntu angidiscourage like nje yonke into yami nje bengasahambi ngolayini ngoba noma kuthiwa ama-meeting esikolweni bengenabi bekungasekho nje umuntu ozoba da for mina kwabona because ne-lady nalo angeke ngiliblame le ndoda kade ahlala nayo bekumuntu abusive too much so yinto engiphathe kabi kakhulu emoyeni yiyo into engenza ukuthi ngifile le way ngifila ngakhona yabo I end up vele ngifuna nokuzibulala mina yonke into yami bengahambi till now yabona namanje okay right nokufila that pressure but okay sengikhulile ngiyazizamela le way ngizama ngakhona it's like angikhali kubani lento le ngenza ukuthi ngibe strong nomntanami njengoba sekakhona emhlabeni umuntu ongiphushayo ukuthi okay ngidlosi khala kusizi thingihambe ngisukume ngizimele so ezinawo ngiyazimela ngeke ngikhale kugogo ngithi ngifuna imali yokuthi ngithengele umntanami or umntanami la esikolweni kumele ngiphume ngothengisa then ngibuye ngithengise into engizithengisayo then ngizama ibusiness nami because I think I'm business minded I can do it.
After hearing his stories, Mandla, we decided to bring him to studio where he can have a chat to our experts and we can try and see how we can change his perspective. We'll be back after the break.
The debate is always good. Let's chat about it. A start. The debate is always good. Let's chat about it. A start.
The message we can give young people today is understand the value of working on themselves, because people don't live life as it is, they live life as they are.
The world is a different place today. South Africa is an amazing place. There's so much change available. And I think that now young people have to realize that they don't have to necessarily follow a conventional path. They have to follow what's in their heart.
Youth of the nation is what's going to grow that nation. And the most important thing that young people and everyone needs to understand is choosing to do what is right for you in this moment versus being run on programming from the past.
I wanted to leave you with a personal message. We're at a very important time in history at the moment where a great man that influenced me, certainly, I'm in my 40s now and he's into his 90s now, Nelson Mandela, has had an amazing journey through his life. And I think one of the messages that we can take from this great man is it's not about just what you do on the earth, it's not about how you just show up on a day-to-day basis, but it's about the steps that you take to lead the culture, the community, your family, your country into the future.
In my mind, I saw him as a father that gave me inspiration to believe that anything's possible, inspiration to take a stand with my life, of integrity, of not compromising, of not selling out, of holding yourself to a higher standard. It's not about you, that you're here to serve.
I would encourage all South Africans to use what he fought for. Use your freedom. Use your freedom to help other people. The reward for helping them will be financial success.
Chatroom's on.
Let's chat about a start.
Welcome back to the chat room. Namhlanje sikhuluma ngokuthi how we can change our mindsets so that sizokhona ukushintsha impilo zethu. Now, before the break, we saw a bit of Mandla's story, and now he joins us here in studio. Also, we've got our experts joining Mandla, trying to help change his perspective on life. Joining us is Dr. David Molapo from the ICANN Foundation, as well as Mr. Michael Eilersten from Live Out Loud. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Mandla Pujam. Thank you for coming through to the studio. Best Beggy insert yako before the break. And a young person such as yourself is feeling the way you're feeling, and I guess it's because of circumstances. Why is it to feel like when as Mandla awuna input nje to people around you as to society and to society at large?
Yeah, kunzima. Kunzima ukukhula, it's like ukukhula uhlangabezana nenkinga eningi. Yeah. I mean, usesikolweni into zakhe azihambeli kahle, akukhona concentrate even it's like ukwathatha incwadi ufunde ulambile. Yeah. It was difficult.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Dr. David. We've heard Mandla's story, and maybe a few other young people such as Mandla can resonate with his story. And he's demotivated. He's sitting here, he's feeling worthless, and he doesn't think he can add value to anyone. How true is that?
Thank you. Mandla, thank you so much for it too. Yeah. First of all, let me say I empathize with you. But you know, most of us have gone through what you've gone through, because you see, in life, life is like a book of many chapters. Some chapters are rough, some chapters are smooth. Some chapters are filled with tragedies, like yours, but some other chapters are filled with triumphs. I've been where you've been. At the age of 13, I was in prison. Just like you, I was born in a disadvantaged home. I was actually born in a garage, but being born in a garage did not make me a car. So I'm saying that none of us are exempt from challenges of life. Inkingas empilo, challenges of life are part of life, because a life without a challenge is a life without strength. Impilo aqinisa. The challenge of life will strengthen you. So here's what I like to encourage you to do. This is what I've done. The first thing that you have power over is choices. You need to make a decision, because your decision will decide your destiny. There is a time in your life where you need to choose to change. That's why I wrote this book, and I'm going to give it to you. You need to choose to change, because as you are realizing that this situation is not working for you, into the better. So you cannot just continue like this. So the number one thing is that there are certain things that you can control, and there are certain things that are beyond your control. I want to talk about what you can control. Choices. Your decision, you can control that. You can make a decision right now to say, in spite of all of these challenges, I choose to change, which is why we're here today. Choose. But number two, it's not enough just choose to change. Mandla, you need to find a person you can trust. You need to find a coach. You need to find a mentor. Ipra o incanyayo Because you cannot run this race alone. God did not design us to run this race alone. You need someone. And then number 3, Chief, and this was going to be good for you. Some of your friends, you need to say bye-bye to, Chief. When you've made a decision, you have a mentor, you need to say bye-bye to some bad influences. Peer pressure is serious.
I must tell you, first thing, to see the gentleman who's standing, sitting before us over here, it blew my mind that you're in this position because you carry yourself so well. You know, from the moment I met you, I could not believe that this is the person whose mindset is in that space. And that was the first thing that struck me about you, because let me tell you, I understand and I sympathize with the difficult situation you've been through. But let me tell you, that is going to give you the drive. The most successful people I know worldwide, not just within South Africa, the people who have really gone out and made it and made something of their lives is because they've gone through the difficulty. They've gone through those tough times. They've said, I know how difficult it can be. I know how harsh life can be and the position it can place you in. And to come from that and use that to drive you, to make sure that you yourself lift yourself out of that position. The first thing I must tell you, Mandla, is that it's got nothing to do with anyone else. You can listen to Dr. David and I today, but the big thing that has got to change is your own mindset, because you've got to see yourself of what contribution you can bring. You know, are you employed at the moment?
No, I'm not employed at the moment.
Now that must be the first thing you must look at changing and going, you know what, Dr. David's right. The people you surround yourself with, if you surround yourself with people who think better, who are driven, who want to go and make an impact.
He did try and start a business, so we do understand that Mandla has an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
He said he would open up a car wash in the community, etc. But even that didn't work. So we know
But that is why you need a mentor and a coach. Because, you know, you can't just start business like that. You know, even when you have found that cause that Mike spoke about, you find a cause, but Chief, you need people who have gone through this thing before.
So those are one of the things that he can start implementing in terms of bouncing back from that. So we understand he's got that, he's made a choice, he's got an entrepreneurial spirit. He kind of messed up because he didn't have guidance. So maybe let's go into that, the importance of having a mentor.
Yes.
Let me hit that quickly, because I want, as part of ICANN Foundation, to mentor you. And not only are we mentor you with words and motivation, we are spanangwe. That means we're going to walk with you. But as he said, the work ethic is important. When you've made that decision, Chief, you find a cause, you stop blaming the past. Chief, you cannot move into your tomorrows with unresolved yesterday. Yesterday is gone. You cannot allow the failures of yesterdays to kidnap your future. As Mike said, you've got potential, Chief. And for me, as you are loaded, Mepra. You are loaded. Go ahead.
Yeah, I try, but yafana. You know, it's like I'm trying my best. You would say maybe I'm changing, different, ne? Because the last time, I worked there, but it was difficult because lang phuma khona kunzima, and then bese kube khona umunye umuntu ozogibela phezulu actually yabo.
Dr. D, can you climb in on that? Because it seems as though some people are determining his destiny and his altitude.
Unfortunately, Mandla, life is not fair, bro. Life is not fair. And because life is not fair, life is not going to treat you the way you want it to be treated. Example, people's opinion, you must come to a point like what Mike is saying. It comes back to that thing I've said. It's a decision. What I've trained you now climb over me does not give me the excuse, manje. Somewhere. It's part of life. It's part of building tenacity. Because you'll always find things like that. So here's my practical point to you. Number one, you need to understand, Witty, when you realize life is not fair, the question is not what is happening to you that counts. It is what is happening in you. You make a jongal, all the time there's a difficulty, you want to go in the toll, you give out, whatever. You'll not succeed in life. If I were to tell you my stories, where I come from, people have trained, people have now taken over, you cannot allow people's feelings to determine your destiny. You've got to fight in a difficult chapter. You've got to fight it out, Guti, as he says. Still go that extra mile. I know it's painful, but the challenge that I still feel you have is anything you do, you've got a reference of the past. Everything you do, reference of the past. That to me is that, you know, you need to cut that thing because there are certain people, doesn't matter what they are promoted, at least, Chief, you've got a job.
Yeah.
What lessons can you learn?
So
from
how
that?
do you cut
Yes.
that out when
Yes.
that's all you've ever known and that's how you've been going through
Well-
life? How does he begin to do that?
Okay, before that, I just want to add one thing on what Dr. David was saying, is that look at your attitude in that situation. Imagine if you had gone to your boss in that situation and say, listen, I see you promoted this gentleman. I'm going to show you that I'm even better for that job. If I'd been the promotion, that it would have gone further, and I'm going to prove that wrong. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to approach every day and show you how well I can do. Because let me tell you, that's character. And that he would end up going, okay, interesting. And I've had someone in my business do the exact same thing. I made the wrong decision promoting the wrong individual. And that person sat down with me and said, listen, you promoted the wrong person, but don't you worry, watch me for the next 6 months and then tell me what we can do. And now that person is number 2 of my entire company because of the fact of that sort of attitude that he had. So as Dr. David is saying, is that you've got to change it. Your attitude is wrong on this. From the time you walked in here today, you were talking about, as Dr. David was saying, the past. You're talking about where life has thrown you curveballs. Instead of arriving here today saying, I'm a successful individual. I'm someone who's going to make a mark. I've gone through the difficult times. I'm going to turn my mind around now, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. Everything, life has gone against me, but because of that, I'm a stronger, bigger, better person than anyone else, and I'm going to make sure that I can make a mark because of that.
And why we're saying that is want you to close that chapter of the past, Mom. Because remember, you can never move forward while you're looking at the rear, okay? Even when you drive a car, the rear mirror is small, the big thing. We expect you to come up here like you say, guys, life dealt me a bad blow. I'm kawatile. You can even say kawatile or whatever, you know, but I'm here now, guys, help me, how do I move on? Because that's what you need. Because sooner or later, when you hit this thing, it triggers the past, isoglimas. And not only in your work.
What we need to also maybe highlight is that when he does step out of here with all this motivation and the tools that he can apply in his life, is that life is going to continue hitting him because it doesn't mean that I think what we need to do is realize that happens. Even though you make those decisions, life doesn't change instantly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, that sustaining power of just motivating yourself even though it looks bleak. And I think I want us to empower Mandla with all of that now, but we'll do that after the break. All this and more after the break. Today on the chat room, we're talking about changing our mindsets so that we can change our lives. We'll be right back.
Debate is always good. Let's chat about it. Start. Debate is always good. Let's chat about it. Start.
Welcome back to the chat room. We all know that in our youth, we should thrive and make an effort to excel because that is when we are at our prime. We are talking about changing our mindsets today so that we can change our lives. Before the break, we introduced you to Mandla, who needs a new perspective on life based on his challenges. Our experts are here to help him, and we continue to do that. Mandla, we heard some of the things that could be contributing to the way that you are feeling, Manje, about your outlook in Impilo. What do you think? And we've discussed the issue about your job, your parents, where you come from, etc. And the experts even noted Uguti, you keep on referring to the past. Do you think Uguti Wena, you've contributed to some extent in terms of how things have turned out in your life?
Angabheka iside lokuthi maybe ngumuntu wrong kanjani because I've done everything. Ngingathengisa impahla, ngawasha imoto, and then from imoto I've learned something from them for abantu bemoto. Then from imoto, from SMD try izinto ukuthi mhlambe ngithenge isikorokoro ngesilungise and then ngisithengise. It was bekungumunye umqondo, so ngaba nenye ingqondo ukuthi maybe okay right, let me go ngiyosebenza. Then ukuya emsebenzini yochinja impilo yami kakhulu. Ngibone ngathi you know what, life ivele kula inqindezela kakhulu ke manje because I know this thing.
Now Mandla, earlier on, and I think maybe was stressed he take pay to ukuthi life nje good bad. I don't think you heard it. What Dr. Molapo said to you ukuthi mina ngizokmentor, ne? Says mina ngizokmentor as ICANN Foundation. And but the question is, okay, firstly, did you even hear it? Okay, he was actually offering.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe. Okay, well, he's offering.
Twice,
He
yes,
will
he said
mentor you.
Yeah,
ne? And it's a great honor because
Wow,
I know a lot
that's
of
huge.
people who are watching you right now thinking, why isn't that happening to me? But I think before we say, yay, all good and well, you're lucky. Are you prepared to accept his mentorship?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Are you determined?
Yes, I'm determined.
And what are you hoping to become, or who are you hoping to become at the end of this program, Doctor?
I'm hoping ukuthi ngibe umuntu better, you know, it's like njengoba beyasho ukuthi, you know, life plays no favor, and then I think I'll follow everything le abangitshele yona actually. Yeah.
So it's born up in a few years' time. Because you know how we do it on the chat room. We're going to revisit you.
Okay.
We want to see Mandla and the difference and the things that you've gained ukuthi uzapply kanjani empilweni yakho. So mawubhekile nje, where do you think mangukuvakashela futhi, where will you be?
No, I think ngizobe achievile somewhere somehow. Yeah, ezinye izinto and like business or maybe ngibuyele esikolweni ngiyowrite that metric and then carry on with my education. Then,
so the possibilities are endless, ne?
Yeah, because I think
and understand, Mandla, they'd be endless regardless of Dr. David's program. Is amazing, and I would love to be even. He could mentor me even. Let me tell you that much. But in saying that, if your attitude and your drive is right, you would be successful no matter what, even without his program.
True.
And to the viewers that are listening to the show, it's the same thing. Your attitude, your goals, and that drive is there. They would make a success of themselves in any capacity.
Yeah, attitude. Yeah. I think attitude there. It's a good thing to take. Yeah, I must change my attitude. Yeah.
And you know, from my side, why I wanted to mentor you, because you remind me of me and a lot of other guys that you'll meet. And that's why our organization is called I Can. If you can just get that in your mind, I-C-A-N, have an idea, imagination, Baba. Where you are, people like us will give you a platform. But you must, the C says you've got to be committed to those ideas and ideals. And the A, assume responsibility. I can't do it for you. I'll guide you, train you, empower you with a team, give you the necessary resources, but you need to assume responsibility. And the letter N, never give up. Mandla, life is like a chapter. There are days when you want to throw in the towel. Here's something to think about. Remember, sometimes you need a night to see the stars. Inkanyezi ausboni emin, God has gone.
Thank you very much for sharing your words of wisdom with Mandla and the rest of South Africa who I know have benefited. Well, that's all we have time for today in the chat room. And you know what they say, Bati, if you work in your passion or when's your passion, you will never work a day in your life. So please join us for more thought-provoking chats right here in the chat room. We will follow Istoros Mandla Futi and we'll follow him in a few shows and see Uguti from now. Jovas Kumana namhlanje. We wish him all the best. From me, Sarah Tabete, and the rest of the chat room team, goodbye and God bless.